Hello dudes and dudettes. Today I'm gonna show you how to build this very simple resin farm behind me that lets you craft your own creaking hearts to your heart's desire or something. And I will show you how to get started with the farm and how to build it larger if you want even more resin clumps. Alright, we found one. It's not big, but it's a pale garden and we just have to wait for nighttime. Okay, the objective of this run through of the pale garden is to get a creaking heart to start our farm. And yeah, it can be a bit dicey, but if you have decent armor, it shouldn't be a problem. You just run around in the forest, which luckily isn't that big, and then you hit every one of those creaker guys that you can see. That's basically what you do. And of course you have to avoid all the other mobs, which are actually a bigger problem than the creakers themselves. The creepers and especially the skeletons, they can be quite hairy, but you just have to stay alive, have a shield, have armor, and then hit these guys whenever you see one. And then it becomes daytime, and when the daytime comes, the creakers disappear, and then you run back in through the forest, which, as I said, luckily isn't that big, and you're just looking for the orange stuff. If you can find some of the orange stuff on a tree, you're good. So let's just walk around and see if we can find some. There it is. There it is. And it means that there's a heart in there somewhere. So if I take an axe and just go in here, there you can see it. We have one right there. And if I take out that block, it will turn off. Let me just get the resin right there. And if you're in doubt, you can just put back one of these blocks underneath, one below and above, and then it will shine. Let's take this back to our testing world. So, we're back from our little adventure in the woods, in survival, and we've retrieved a creaking heart. Just one, actually two. So, how do we build up this farm? Well, it's quite easy. We start off with this contraption. We have two creaking hearts and we put them right there, like that. And you can see a lot of spaces are still missing, but it's quite easy that when you have a resin, you just put it in here and you get resin blocks. And if you have these and a resin block, you get a new heart like that. So you can build it up slowly. But what does this farm consist of? It's very simple. It's an etho hopper clock, as you can see right here. Standard design. Best redstone contraption in the game, and in it I have 11 items. And when I turn this on, if we go to the other side, you see two things. These are the pale oak logs that are being pushed back and forth. Well, that's the farm, because when you hit a creaker and he sends his, the yellow dust back, it only sits on the two logs just above and below the heart. So if you move this, it falls off. And that's basically how this design works. So I made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long. You could make it longer, of course, but it has to do with the length of the water stream down here. And as you collect the resin, you just put in more hearts. You can see you will have even more hearts turning on and off, and the resin clumps will sit there, and because it is pushed by the piston, it will fall off, and we will have water there leading it down to a chest. That brings us to over here. This is a build-up farm, and I opted for building it up in 2 layers, which means that there are 12 creaking hearts in here. And you can build up 1 layer first, as over there, and then you can build up 1 layer more. If you want a whole lot of this right here, this resin clumps, which can be turned into It's called a block of resin, and you could put that in the smelter, and then you can get all these blocks right here, which you can also have in stairs and all the usual ways you can have it. I'm not really convinced about this block. I will probably use it as flowers. That looks nice, but as tiles, I don't see all that many use cases. It's a kind of, it's a hefty color. That's what I want to say. It really it stands out. But as flowers, I like it. This farm produces quite a lot. In this size where there are 12 hearts, let's just try and take out some of this. Perfect timing. It's knife time. We have half a chest, half a double chest, and down here I have a sword, and I will be swinging this sword all through the night. As you can see, let me just show you how it works. Every time these are turned on, there's a chance for a creeker to spawn, but they can only spawn in this area in here. This guy is coming from this farm over here, which I have not turned off, so... Alright, how does the farm work? Well, as I told you, we are pushing these logs above and below the resin hearts, the creaking hearts, and when they're pushed, the resin clumps will fall down. So they fall down right here in a water stream and are led out to this chest right here. The resin clumps can go through blocks, so we can make sure that there's only one water stream collecting it. We just have a row of glass. Before, you can see there's nothing in here, just air, and it will still work. Then we have this area down here where you can see we sometimes have a dispenser spawning some water, and this is where the creakers, I'm not really sure, the wooden guys, they will spawn in here. And that's not a lot of space, but they don't need a lot of space. However, they can spawn in quite a big area. They can spawn 16 blocks away from their heart. So this is made to make sure it's a spawn-proof platform, to make sure that there's only one place that they can spawn, and that's in here. Then you have to make sure that the resin clumps don't get stuck on this side of the system. That's why we have glass aligned all the way down fully into the system right here. So there's actually a glass wall between the hearts and the etho hopper clock. Okay, not much more to say. Then we have a timer, so to speak. We use the same etho hopper clock every time, and we send a signal down here to a dispenser with water in it. And that is because that when we start AFKing, we want all the creakers to go down here, so we can use a sword with a sweeping edge on it, so that we can damage them all, and they will make their particles, and they will go through all of this, and they will sit on these blocks here, here, and here, and when they're pushed back and forward, they will fall down into that water stream right here and get collected right here. The creaking hearts they cannot spawn in water, so they will only spawn when the water is away. But usually it doesn't take long. There's one right there, and there's one, there's one, there's one, and then the water pushes them down here. Well, I can stand and swing my sword like this. And you can see it goes up there and sits on there and is pushed off whenever this is pushed back and forward. Now, I know for some reason you want rates. I mean, it has to be limited how much of this that you want, but I will be swinging here a whole night, speed it up, and then show you the rates. So it's getting daytime, and in a second they're gone. Let's just get the last out of them. I forgot to put a full block or a block on top of the top layer. That's because I built a layer more on this from the original design. You can see up here I have a layer of glass and then slabs, and now I forgot that when I showed it the first, so now I have a layer of smooth stone, and I also put a layer of smooth stone here at the end, simply because it was only 1 or 2, but they might come out from the pistons right here. Another thing that you will have to be very, very careful of is you basically have to slap everything off. I mean, somehow these guys, they can spawn on glass, they can spawn on redstone, they can spawn on an observer with redstone on. They don't care, they just spawn anyway. Slabs and water is the only thing that makes them not spawn. So the rates, as I said, if you have one layer like this, which is 5 hearts, 6 hearts, and 2 layers with 5 oak logs, you will approximately get 9 stacks for one night. And the funny thing is, the rates are increasing during the night, because in the beginning there's only 1, then there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and the yield increases through the night until there's no more of these creakers can be spawned. The maximum, you would say, should be 12 creakers, right? But not so. You can get 14, 15 creakers in there, and it has to do probably with the way that we push this back and forth. But apparently one creaker can spawn more than one and still retain it, even though the signal or whatever it's called is lost. When we have 2 layers like this, it doesn't increase to 2 rows, it actually becomes 3 rows of yellow stuff. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, remember to leave a like. If you're brand new, subscribe. And what else is there to say except go out and break some hearts.